welcome back to our channel. A massive thank you to everyone who's liked, comment and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Our subscribers are growing. We're almost at 7k, so we are really happy with that. As you saw in our last vlog, we were doing a countdown to baby Patel part 1, and it just happened to be that actually turned into Michelle's labour story. So this vlog is going to be all about Michelle's labour and delivery.
So as you guys know from my last vlog, I ended up having to be induced. So we arrived at the hospital that morning at 10, and that's when we had the scan, and then they said obviously my waters had been reducing, isn't it? Had been reducing. So yeah, they're basically going to schedule me for an induction. So I was like, okay, yeah, what day are you going to do it? And she was literally like, no, we're taking you to the ward now, we're going to admit you to the ward now. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I called my mum, my sisters, and like let them know, okay, yeah, I'm actually going into labour now. And I called his family and stuff. So yeah, they moved me to this ward where there's like 3 or 4 other people that were being induced as well. So this is at like midday, I'd say. I got there. So then they gave me, they put the catheter. They put in the cannula, which is the thing that you saw at the end of the last video. They, like, yeah, you know. So that they could put the antibiotics in my body, so that obviously infection and stuff, to reduce that. So then at 3 o'clock, I think it was, that's when they gave me the drug or whatever it is to start the process of induction. And literally for 6 hours or whatever, I felt like fine. I had like little cramps, but it was like literally nothing. So I ate and stuff, and it went to go and get some things, and then that's when everything started. So it's now about, what, 10 o'clock, and then my contractions, I started feeling them and understanding what people were saying, like, you know, when they start. I felt like I was literally having a really bad period, like really bad. And the thing with the induction was that it meant, it's not the same for everyone, but for me, I didn't have breaks in between my contractions, so it was like constant rolling pain. So at that point, Amit was like, okay, no, we need to start timing them. And then he was like trying to tell the midwife, yeah, Michelle's like actually in pain now, like we need to do something. The midwife wasn't really, she was just like, this early labour, it's fine. And she like gave me like some paracetamol, which did not help. So yeah, I was literally like in agony. And Amit was like trying to help, giving me massages and stuff, helping me breathe through it, but it was really not helping. So at that point they decided, okay, let's monitor baby to see how he's doing, because my contractions weren't easing up, and then they noticed that he was really distressed. So then they decided, okay, let's check to see how dilated you are. So they checked me, I was only 2 centimetres. I was thinking this is a joke in terms of the amount of pain. I was thinking they were going to come and tell me I'm 4 centimetres now, I'm in active labour. Sorry. I'm in active labour, but they didn't. So I was like, oh gosh, I don't know how I'm going to pull through this. And bearing in mind this time my mum wasn't there, because we had told her to wait until we knew things were happening before then. So it was literally like a waiting game, and I was just literally in pain, and Amit was literally watching me helplessly. So this went on for some time, and they were trying to give me fluids and stuff to see if baby would calm down or if it would help things out, but literally nothing was helping. So the midwife then called upstairs to the actual delivery suite and spoke to the doctor, and they were literally like, okay, no, I think we need to move her up to monitor her more closely and then see what we can do from there. So this is when it was like, okay, it's getting real now, I'm moving up to the next place so baby could be here soon. Yeah, so we went upstairs now. I was in my own room, so I thought this is a bit better. And there was a toilet in the room, which helped, because I kept feeling like I needed to go to the loo, but nothing was really happening. But at least it was closer, so that helped. The pain was still going, intensifying. And I remember, I think I was like, damn it, I feel really sick. And then literally everything started coming out. I was like literally throwing up all over the place. And Amit was literally like petrified. And he was like, I need to call the midwife, I need to call the midwife. And then the midwives came, they're like, yeah, that's normal. Yeah, they do tend to feel sick during that time and all of that kind of thing. So Amit was like, okay, fine. And then at this point, because it was getting a bit more intense, I was like, can someone please call my mom now? Can you call my mom? Because I didn't know when obviously I was going to have to start pushing or whatever, but I just felt like she needs to be here if I'm in this amount of pain now. Not that Amit wasn't enough, you were enough, but you know, I needed some support from someone who had been in the position before. So yeah, Amit then called my mum. He had obviously kept her in the loop from before to let her know how things were going, and she was calling like every minute to say to him, to tell them to check her again to see if she's more dilated and all of this stuff, because obviously her labour experience was completely different from mine. So yeah, that's what was happening. And then I remember like literally saying to Amit, tell them to get him out now, tell them to just take him out of my body. I don't know what I was thinking that they can do, to be honest, but what I knew is that I needed him out. And Amit was kind of like, he was trying to be like really supportive and was just like, okay, I'll go and tell them. Let me go and tell them now. I was like, no, you can't leave now because I'm in the middle of contraction. You need to stay here and hold my hand. After that, you can go. But anyway, he didn't end up leaving. But when the midwife came in, he was a bit scared and was like, I think she needs some pain relief. I was like, that's not what I told you to tell them. I told you to tell them to take the baby out. And then yeah, so I think the doctor thought I was just a bit crazy, but they're probably used to seeing all of that. So he was just literally like, yeah, we can give you some more pain relief. We can give you some gas and air. So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do the gas and air thing. So they were like, oh, we need to put a better trace on the baby's heart. We need to put a clip on his head. So they were like, okay, we'll give you the gas and air and then we'll go up there and all that. And literally, the gas and air for me didn't help. For some people, obviously, that's what gets them through labour. I thought gas and air made me crazy. It wasn't that. Obviously, I could still feel the pain. I guess it was a good distraction, but I just felt like I was going mad. So for me, it was like, no, I don't want this. They were telling me to use it for the rest of my contractions. I said, no, I'll just breathe like a normal person because I feel like I'm going crazy. Like the sound effects that I was making, I could still hear in my head now. And I'm sure Amit was just thinking, I'm a lunatic. So yeah, they couldn't even put the clip on the baby's head because I was just like in too much agony and I was like trying to move around. So they were like, okay, we're gonna give you an epidural. So at this point I was like, yeah, give me whatever you've got. Just bring me whatever you've got. Bear in mind, guys, my plan was to have a natural labour. So all of this stuff kind of went out of the window for me, unfortunately. I was just like, yeah, bring it on. And by this time my mum had come and then she was watching, she was like, and when they were like going through all the risks and stuff, she was like, are you sure you want them to do epidural? I was like, Mum, I asked for it. I'm in pain now. I can't take this kind of thing. So yeah, they're like, you have to be really still. It's going to take 15 minutes for us to like do it. And I was thinking, my contractions are not 15 minutes apart. So I don't know how I'm going to manage because I know I squirm about. Like sitting still was not helping me at all. So they're like, yeah, so just put your head down into your chest, and then they made me hold Amit's hand and I elevated the bed or whatever. So I was literally like, never in my life have I had to concentrate so hard because I was like, my life is literally in the hands of this anesthesiast dude, whatever, the guy that gives you the drugs. So I literally sat there like this, and then he did it all, and it was like fine. My mum was watching in the background, like, Amit was just like trying to focus just to make sure that I was going to be okay, but it was fine. So they put it in, and it worked super fast. Like literally straight away, I stopped feeling any of the pains. I could feel that I was having contractions, but it didn't feel like before, which was like really sharp, and I can't even explain it. So yeah, the epidural worked really fast, and that really helped. So yeah, even though obviously in my plan I was like, I don't want epidural, I don't want any kind of pain relief. Looking back on it, it really, really saw me through. Like I feel like it saved my life at that moment. Okay, so in my head I was thinking, okay, now I've had the epidural, things are fine. I guess I'll be ready to push soon. It'll be okay. My mum obviously had arrived and stuff, so I was thinking, yeah, we can do this now. But then the doctor came in and was like, yeah, so basically we've been talking, and now that Mum's here, we can let you know that basically you need to have an emergency C-section. All of us were like, what? What are you on about? Like, obviously we knew that they had been monitoring the baby, but they didn't make it seem as though anything drastic was wrong. Like, it just seemed like, oh, he was a bit distressed, but it would be fine. But they were like, basically, because we tried everything, we gave you fluids, and he still hasn't like calmed down. It seems like the only way in which we can ensure that both you and baby are healthy is to get him out by C-section. If we wait any longer, literally it could be a problem. So we're all like, oh gosh, like C-section. Obviously I've already gone through and done the epidural, which was not on my list of things, and now C-section. And my mum's face, literally, she was just in shock, because my mum's the type of person that she always says, nobody in my family will go under the knife. She doesn't like surgery, she doesn't like any of those kind of things. She doesn't like them. To be honest, I wouldn't have opted that for myself. I never would have saw myself saying, oh yeah, I'm going into labour and I'm going to have a C-section. No, that was never my plan. But what really helped me was that before, obviously when I was pregnant, like I was asking people about their labour stories and stuff. Obviously some of my cousins had pain-free by the grace of God. My cousin's wife, she had a C-section, and when she was telling me about it, she told me like she wasn't prepared for it at all, so it really petrified her. And when she told me like what all the risks were, so it was like in my head when they were saying, okay, yeah, this is what we're gonna have to do, in my head I was like, okay, so I'm mentally prepared because of what she told me. This is what they're gonna bring to me, so don't panic. So I was like, yeah, let me just stay calm and literally just say like God's in control, because at this point that's literally what it's gonna have to be. I can't depend on anyone else. So yeah, we tried to ask them if we could wait a little bit longer before we decide that we go through with it, but they were like, no, time is up, kind of thing. And the midwife was literally like to me, usually I'm an advocate for natural deliveries, but in this situation I would say that you have to go for it. So I was like, okay, fine, they know what they're doing, let's just pray about it and then go forward. So my mum was like, yeah, I'll stay here and do my prayers, and then you go and support her. So yeah, she did that, and then she called my dad just to let him know. My dad was like really worried, because I think he thought I was panicking, but I was like, no, just tell him I'm fine, like it's fine, we're gonna come back with the baby soon and it'll be okay. So I signed my life away on that paper, which was saying that I could lose X amount of blood, or I might have to repair my womb or something. All kinds of things were on that piece of paper anyway. So I signed my life away. Me and Amit we got ready like literally 10 minutes. Me and Amit went into the room. Amit was wearing scrubs, he looked like Dr. Patel. And then yeah, they took us into theatre, which it was really cold in there. And I started like getting the shakes, but they said it was like a side effect of the medication as well. So on top of the epidural, they gave me something, they called it a block, so it was like to numb obviously all of this area. And the guy that gave me the medicine, I can't say the word, and it's whatever. He was really good. He like explained everything that was going to happen and just making sure, because I think because he could feel that my mum was probably worried, he just wanted to make sure that that no one would touch me until he knew that the drugs had worked and like I couldn't feel a thing, literally. So we were in there, they put up the sheet thing, and I was just like, oh, this is like one born every minute. Sitting on the other side, so Amit was sitting next to my head, kind of thing, and he was like holding my hand. And I was asking him, are you looking? And he was like, no, he didn't want to see it. I think in his head he would have liked to have looked, because he likes those type of things, but at that moment he was just like more focused on how I was feeling. So I just remember feeling them tugging in me. It didn't feel like I was in pain or anything, but I just felt like I was high on medicine or something. So yeah, they're tugging, and then after a while, so they pulled him out. And then I just heard him crying, because apparently they had warned Amit and told him that because of the state of the baby and they didn't know how distressed he was, he probably wouldn't cry for a while, which was one of their main worries. But this guy came out, he was ready to come out, he was screaming, crying for like half an hour or something. And I remember just feeling really like emotional, and literally I started crying at that point in the time, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm actually a mum, like he's out of me now. And then the first thing I asked was, Amit, does he have a lot of hair? And I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, he has hair, kind of thing. And then like all the doctors and stuff, well, I was really strange for asking that, but I just wanted to know. Because obviously I didn't see him straight away, I could just hear him in the distance, and Amit got to go with him, so I was just like lying there like by myself. So the guy the anaesthetist, whatever, he came and was like, yeah, I'll stay with you, I'll hold your hand whilst they go and weigh him. And then he got me tissues and stuff, which was really nice. And then Amit came back with Ezra, and they like put him next to my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, I said he looks like Amit's dad, but I just felt like I felt he was like so cute, and it was just weird that we had produced a child, and he was here now after 9 months of waiting. It was just really emotional, and then yeah, they were like stitching me up for like what felt like forever. It literally felt like it was hours. And then they rolled me back away, and then we went into my recovery room, and my mum was there, and I remember we were going in, and I was like, say hello to grandma, and my mum was literally like, oh, she couldn't believe it, because she had been waiting for ages, because when she asked how long it would take, they said it would be like 5 minutes to get the baby out and then 20 minutes, but it was much longer. So she could hear him crying from the room, but she didn't know anything that was going on with me or whatever, so she was just kind of like in anticipation. And then yes, they took me back, and I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe labour's over, like that's it, it's done. I'm a mum, Amit's a dad. And then Amit started doing all the phone calls, which made me feel a bit more like emotional, because everyone's reaction as well was like really, everyone was super excited, super happy and stuff, so yeah. So yeah, that's my labour story, guys. I went in with the plan to go into the birth centre, have water birth maybe, pain-free, gas and air only. Ended up coming out with an epidural or C-section. But I just want to say to people that might be pregnant or people that are planning to have babies in the future, obviously you will go with a plan of what you want your labour story to be like, and there's nothing wrong with having that firm in your mind that you don't want to take any drugs or whatever. I mean, power to you. Hopefully with my next one it can be pain-free by the grace of God. But all I do want to say and just encourage people is that if it does not go to plan, do not panic. Like, you will come out the other end healthy, baby will come out healthy. Just go with the flow. At the end of the day, you know what your body's feeling, you know what you can take, you know what you can't take. So yeah, just don't be discouraged and don't let it put you off having more babies in the future. I'm ready to have number 2, but they said I have to wait a year and a half. But yeah, if you have any more questions or want to know some more detail, because it was a bit quick, feel free to email us. I think the email's below. And don't forget to comment, like and subscribe.